Hello, this is TIO Markets and I'm John Knobel. Today we're going to get into an introduction to chart construction. Before we get into the nice juicy bits, let's pause for a second and read through the legal disclaimer. I'm John Knobel and I'm here to share with you 21 years of experience as a professional investor. I started my career in New York as a financial advisor for Morgan Stanley. I qualified to manage commodity funds, commodity trading, and operate commodity pools by the U.S. National Futures Association. And later on, I was certified by the Cyprus Ministry of Finance as an investment advisor and portfolio manager. Chart construction. What is chart construction? Chart construction is your basic foundation before you can come up with a conclusion about your price forecast. Where do you think prices are headed? So there are many different types of charts that are available on trading platforms, but today we're just going to do a quick introduction into the three most common, and they're going to be the line chart, the bar chart, and the candlestick chart. So let's move on to the next screen, and we're going to speak about the line chart and what is included in a line chart. So this is going to be the most common of line charts, of charts to most of you. I mean, you've all seen, these type of charts. You've all seen data plotted in some kind of a graph, and usually it's in the most basic form, which is a line chart. But what data is in that line chart, and what is it telling us? A line chart is only the closing price that's plotted for a particular period. So you're only seeing the closing price depending on what time frame you're looking at. So a time frame could be as little as a minute or a second, to an hour, to a day, to weekly, to monthly charts if you're a long-term trader. So we're only seeing the closing values of price in the line chart. So let's not discount the line chart for being a simple or too simplistic tool. Actually, it's the line chart that can show us the most patterns that can be most easily recognized on a line chart as opposed to other charts, and we'll get into that in just a couple of more slides. So where can we find the line chart? Well, it's on the MT4 platform, and you could look in the toolbar up here, and you can see that you've got bar charts, candlestick, and line chart. If you go ahead and click that line chart, that will bring you up with your line chart in the MT4. If you want to go through that quickly here we go. And from the toolbar, you can click between. It takes the same data, the same information, and just throws it into a different chart. The bar chart. The bar chart is very powerful because it gives us a bit more information than what we're going to see in a simple line chart. So here's a line chart, and this is just showing us the closing values. And then here in a bar chart, what are we seeing? We're seeing more information. We're seeing the open, and let's highlight some of this for us. You can see the open is going to be on the left hand side of the chart, which is this, looks like a branch sticking out. So on the left of each one of these bars, you're going to see the opening price. This is the opening, all here. On the right side is the closing price. And when you see the different color bars, in this case we've got the darker color, and then we've got the TIO Markets orange color here. So for positive closings, when price, let's say if it opened here and closed here, it's going to be a positive value because price had closed above its opening price. So let's focus on this candle here. Here we can see the opening price and the closing price. So a positive value would be when the closing price here closes above the opening price. You will have a positive value. Now, the opposite is true on a negative value bar. Here we can see the opening price and the closing price, and you can see that the closing price is below its opening price, so then you will have a negative bar. So that tells us during this trading session that there were more sellers than buyers, and that the sellers won the battle between buyers and sellers and pushed or forced the price to close lower than its opening. Other areas here, you can see that the buyers and sellers, here we've had the opening here and a closing, and we can see that the buyers had control over that period of time, which gave us a positive value that helped build up some momentum. So you can see that in a bar chart, you're getting significantly more information than that of what is seen in a line chart. If we move on to the candlestick charts, let's get back to the slides for a second here. So just to summarize the bar chart, we can see it shows the open, the high, the low, the close for whatever time period you're going to be in. Most charts, they use a 5-day week. Weekends are not shown. When an exchange or a market is closed, you're not going to see that data in the charts. MT4 to find the bar chart in the MT4 platform, you go to the toolbar, just like in the line charts, and you'll find it up here. Candlestick charts. Now, candlestick charts give us even more information than that of what we're going to see on a bar chart. So on a candlestick, it's similar to a bar chart, but it's a bit more visual. It's more catchy to the eye, and it has here what we call the body. So this is the real body. And what is the real body? Again, you have the positive and negative values. When you have the opening price would be at the bottom of the chart of the candle, and a closing will be at the top, instead of having that left or right setup that we see in the bar chart. Here you can see the opening price and the closing price. So if the closing price is above the opening, it's going to have a positive value. When you see this candle here, a lightly colored one, you're going to see that it will tell you that the closing price closed higher than the opening price. When you have the darker candle here, this will tell you that the closing price, which is here, closed lower than the opening value. And then we have what's called the shadows, which are these tails, these pointy, or the wicks of the candle here. This shows the high for the trading session and the low for the trading session. If we put this on a 1-minute chart, you could really see some action taking place. Let's focus on this candle. You can see how it's moving. So it's a 1-minute chart. This candle will close every minute. So now we've got that 1-minute candle. So you can see that it opened here, closed here. This was the low for that 1-minute period. This was the high for the minute. So a candlestick chart, it's a version of the bar chart. It's got a wider portion of the bar. It's called the real body. It measures the difference between the opening and the close. A thin line is called the shadow. This shows the day's price range from the high to the low. If the close is higher than the open, then the real body is either green, is either white, green, orange, etc. for positive. If the close is lower than the opening, then the real body could be a darker color, or red for negative. You can do everything with a candlestick chart that you can do with a bar chart. You can find it in the MT4 platform in the toolbar, just as you can find the line in the bar chart. Why do we use charts? As a technical trader, we study market movement as regards to the and we don't care about why a market moves. So if as a technical trader, I want to know. I'm looking at the price, the movements in the market. I don't care why it's moving. I'm studying price action, because if a price is moving higher, then it must be assumed that there's good news out there and the fundamentals must be good, and that's why prices are moving higher. If the news is negative, then if prices are falling, then that must assume that the prices are that the news is negative or the fundamentals are negative or not that strong. So as a technical trader, we just need to focus on studying on price action, and we don't care about the news or the why it's happening. So the technical approach is a more indirect study of the fundamentals, and it's a much more efficient way to studying the markets, because at the end of the day, price is the leading indicator. So by chart reading, it's an efficient shortcut to the fundamental analyst, which can become very troublesome because there's a lot of misreading of information. Sometimes there's intentionally misleading information that's put in the market that will affect how investors feel. So by studying the charts and the price action, this could help us filter out all of that information, all of that noise, and focus on just what's truly important, which is the price action. So technical versus fundamental forecasting, both approaches attempt to solve the same problem, to determine the direction prices are likely to follow. That's the aim of all traders, whether you're using a fundamental approach or a technical approach. So any questions on chart construction? This was just a basic introduction into it, and the next lessons that are going to follow, we're going to build on how we can measure and add some more tools into the measuring the strength of or the momentum of charts. So questions on chart construction, contact TIO Markets and find out more. Thank you and good luck trading.